Welcome back everyone to a brand new explainer. Today we are breaking down one of the absolute most massive game-changing updates we've seen in a really long time. I'm talking about the Ramen Rebellion. So if you've been looking for a comprehensive, structured guide to everything this update has to offer, well, you are in the exact right place. We're going to completely unpack the new brawlers, these wild new NanoPowers, and of course, the vital strategies you're going to need to actually dominate this completely new meta.
Okay, let's dive into this. This update isn't just your standard content drop. Supercell hasn't just dropped a new character into the arena and called it a day. No way. Instead, they've introduced a massive special seasonal event that is heavily centered around advanced nanotechnology. It's a fundamental shift in how the game is actually played.
So, here's our roadmap for today's explainer. First, the Ramen Rebellion begins. Second, meet Wendy and Nori. Third, the power of NanoPowers. Fourth, progression and rewards. And finally, number 5, strategies for victory.
All right, part 1. The Ramen Rebellion begins, a complete gameplay shift.
And this brilliantly illustrates just how massive the scale of these new features really is. We're getting 2 new brawlers, a dedicated event progression track, some amazing themed skins, fresh Brawl Pass seasons, crucial balance changes, and just a literal mountain of new rewards. But honestly, the absolute standout feature here, the thing that's going to totally redefine your matches, is NanoPowers. We'll get into the specific mechanics of those in just a sec, but first, you kind of need to know exactly who you'll be taking into battle, right?
Which brings us to part 2. Meet Wendy and Nori, the new challengers.
So right off the bat, there is a super stark contrast between our 2 newcomers. On the left side, we have Wendy, and she is all about protective and shielding support. But over on the right, we've got Nori, who just flips the script entirely, focusing heavily on aggressive, relentless offensive pressure. Let's break down exactly how each of these 2 operates, and we'll start things off with Wendy.
All right, so Wendy is classified as a mythic support brawler. But get this, she doesn't actually rely on traditional healing to keep her team alive. Instead, her main attack fires this really powerful gust of wind. And here is where it gets highly tactical. If that gust of wind hits an enemy, Wendy gains a protective shield for herself. But if she aims it at a teammate, that teammate gets the shield instead. She is absolutely incredible in team fights because she offers proactive protection rather than just reactive healing. Oh, and as a super fun bonus, she can literally walk on water. For sure, that is going to open up some very sneaky flanking routes on those aquatic maps.
Now, what's really interesting here is Wendy's super move, the shield generator. This thing is a complete momentum shifter. Basically, when Wendy drops this generator, any teammate standing inside its radius will have most of the incoming damage redirected away from them and straight into the device itself. But here is the truly brilliant part. Whenever that shield absorbs damage, it actually charges Wendy's next super, meaning the harder the enemy team pushes you, the faster Wendy can drop another shield generator to just stop them dead in their tracks.
But hey, what if you prefer to be the one applying the pressure? Well, that is exactly where Nori comes in. Nori acts as the perfect aggressive foil to Wendy's defensive fortress. Nori's entire kit is designed from the ground up to reward aggressive players. Boasting extremely high mobility, Nori controls the battlefield to sheer offensive volume. So if you love playing fast, constantly attacking, and forcing the enemy into a corner, Nori is going to be your absolute go-to brawler. Believe me, on the right maps, Nori is going to be a total menace.
Moving on to part 3, the power of NanoPowers, the ultimate customization tool.
So, what exactly are they? Well, NanoPowers are temporary event-specific upgrades. They're only active during this Ramen Rebellion event, but while they are active, they completely change how your brawler performs. Some NanoPowers crank your offensive output way up. Some massively boost your defenses, and others provide these entirely unique utilities that are literally going to force you to rethink your standard strategies. Let's move to this breakdown and see how this builds into an actual match. The process is incredibly streamlined, just 3 easy steps. First up, you unlock and equip your chosen NanoPower in the menu. Second, you queue up and enter a Ramen Rebellion event battle. And third, the NanoPower activates completely automatically as soon as the match begins. That's it. There's no complicated buttons to manage mid-fight or anything. You just equip it and immediately feel that power boost. Now, to truly master this meta, you really need to understand synergy. It's like a giant puzzle. If you're running a tank brawler, you're going to want to stack defensive NanoPowers to basically become an unkillable juggernaut.
If you prefer sniper brawlers, equipping damage-boosting NanoPowers is going to let you secure one-shot eliminations from clear across the map. And for support brawlers like our new friend Wendy, you definitely want to focus on survivability or utility NanoPowers. That way, you keep her alive so she can just keep dropping those shield generators. The real secret to winning this season is just constantly experimenting with these exact combinations.
All right, part 4. Progression and rewards. The spoils of war.
So, what do you actually get for all this hard work? Well, by simply participating in the event and completing missions, you are going to be unlocking a massive haul. We're talking exclusive Ramen Rebellion themed skins, a huge array of exclusive cosmetics including pins and sprays, unique profile icons, and of course all those great economy boosters like bling, coins, and credits. But most importantly, playing the event unlocks even more NanoPowers, which feeds right back into that awesome customization loop we just talked about.
Which leads us nicely into Part 5, Strategies for Victory, the Tactician's Playbook.
So the crucial point is, if you really want a blueprint for dominating the Ramen Rebellion, you absolutely need to keep this checklist in mind. First, prioritize completing every single event quest. It is hands down the fastest way to progress. Second, don't get stuck using just one loadout. Constantly experiment with multiple NanoPowers so you stay unpredictable. Third, definitely try to stick to team modes where coordination really shines. NanoPowers and brawlers like Wendy scale massively when you're actively communicating with a team. Fourth, if you notice your team is dying a bit too fast, go ahead and lock in Wendy for that crucial survivability. And finally, try out diverse brawler combinations to discover those hidden, overpowered synergies before the rest of the player base even catches on.
And just like that, it brings us to the end of our deep dive into the Ramen Rebellion. But before we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with 2 really big questions to think about as you jump into your next match. First, based on everything we've just seen, is Wendy's shield generator genuinely overpowered? And second, as you start unlocking them, which NanoPower has instantly become your favorite? I highly encourage you to dive in, test the waters, experiment with all these crazy new mechanics, and take total control of the battlefield. Thanks so much for learning with me today, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.